What's up? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Okay, so today we finna react to this video. Um, it's an E Predators reaction to Alexa Nicholas exposing these kids having to kiss people that are E Predators uncomfortable age gaps. E Predators stars who were first to kiss people who were older.
Only Nickelodeon, but obviously James Marsden and so many different people that are higher up within the entertainment industry. And so we're going to really go through it. We're going to look at these names. We're going to look at who these people are. We're going to look at how and what they hire Brian Peck for. We're going to watch the footage. We're honestly going to dive into it all. And so buckle up. Maybe grab a drink of water, a drink, whatever. And this is going to go pretty deep. So we can show my screen.
Let's see who enabled
them. Wait, Dan Schneider had his back. Brian, I think it's very valid for Drake to say that because his personal experience with Dan Schneider was that. But it's the same thing when it comes to James Marsden or all these other people. Not that I'm saying Drake actually supports everybody who has sat down for the documentary. But what I'm saying is it's like everyone's going to have their own experience with predators, sadly. And that's because predators look at everyone, again, finding the weakness and the advantage in them, and they exploit it. And so if they're not an actual target or a victim, then they're going to prey on them being a loyal bystander. And so they'll show different versions of themselves
She is so
to
smart.
to gain an advantage. And so it doesn't mean that someone's experience is wrong. Let's say if someone says, I never saw that type of behavior. This person was super nice to me, yada, 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 yada. I'm sure they were because they need you for something too. And so that's how predators work. And we don't want to forget that. So instead of going, oh, I don't really believe the survivor because this other person had an experience with them that doesn't match. No. There's a reason to that. They need that other person to say just that. Oh, it never happened to me. That's what they wanted. Boom, they got it. So with a predator, everything is prey. Everything. Not just the victim. And that's what we really need to start educating bystanders about, is that it's not just the victim that is prey to the predator. It is also the bystanders. They know exactly what they need, who they need, and how to do it. And that's how intelligent, honestly, a predator can be. Extremely manipulative. And when people blame the parents, for example. So here's the first one is Albie Hecht. And, by the way, this is obvious in my opinion. This is from looking at the beginning of Brian Peck at Nickelodeon, obviously, and afterwards. So Albie's first job at Nickelodeon was as a creative executive, and he started in 1984. He played a significant role in developing the network's brand and programming during its early years. Double Dare, 1986, a game show known for its messy physical challenges. And just to say, also to note here, is that I'm pretty positive on one of the blogs, shout out to Obscure Nick, they said that on one of Dan Schneider's deleted blog posts, that Albie was the one who brought Dan Schneider to Nickelodeon. Like he was the one who hired him. So maybe let's take a quick look at a little clip of this Double Dare. I don't know if anyone in the chat, let me know if you've watched this.
What is this?
You mean this? Oh yeah.
What's that?
$20 in control of the show that silks you with cash by doubling the dough. Double Dare. Hurry.
Is that something like the youngest one? I don't get what they're saying. Anybody in the chat?
Carry on. Go back over here. This place is Double Dare.
Okay.
Here's your Double Dare host.
So it's basically just like a game show with children.
Yes.
Okay, so basically it's a game show with children. They're making them do some type of like athletic, whatever, sports essentially. And, we've seen things like this before. It's Double Dare. I guess this is what LB really became known for at Nickelodeon and really helped him enter into the Nickelodeon realm. So let's keep diving into this. So Brian Peck's first job as a production assistant at Nickelodeon was on the iconic children's television show Double Dare. So that little snippet that we were watching, Brian Peck's first job as a production assistant at Nickelodeon was Double Dare. So from my knowledge, as of now, LB was the person who brought Brian Peck into the Nickelodeon realm. So let's not forget this guy, 1986, and also brought Dan Schneider in as well. So LB Hecht was promoted to vice president of production and development at Nickelodeon in 1989. LB Hecht strategically hired Brian Robbins and Dan Schneider. Their collaborative efforts under Hecht's leadership resulted in the creation of iconic Nickelodeon shows and movies, contributing significantly to the network's success and cultural impact. Oh God. Okay, wait. Oh my God. So Brian Peck was casted as Pickle Boy. We all know that, but let's just watch it actually. Let's just take a quick peek at really Brian Peck's beginning here. Why does it always not give me that? Give me the actual volume, please. Oh. Aaron Carter.
Why are you looking at him like that? Yeah.
There's so many strange innuendos with Dan Schneider in general, but also with Brian Peck, where he's looking down. Did you see that? And then he looks at a child, and then he looks down, and it's Pickles.
Well, also, he's like holding it in like a way that's like at his crotch.
I know,
like purposefully.
I know.
What, Mama? Mama, if I'm doing a reaction video, what is? I see it. What is it? What does that have to do with Jesus? I'm doing a whole reaction. Let's get our professional to trying to see what's going on. Sorry, Diego, I'm back. Did anybody put anything in the chat? And I'm like, what? Why is he looking at Aaron Carter like that? That's what they're. That's what I'm learning. With me doing this research, you guys, that's what I'm learning. Oh, Jesus, that is just bad.
This is what I don't like about any of this.
That is the joke of it.
Yeah, it is. And it's children again. Like Aaron Carter was a child there, and we're seeing Brian Peck like look down, look up at Aaron Carter, and we all know what it means.
Oh, it's just so weird.
Okay, so Brian Peck was cast as Pick-a-Boy as a series regular who interacted with the cast and celebrities. So here's LB, I guess, with David Spade. I met David Spade once, and I did not have a good experience with him, to be quite honest with you. Fred Durst, kind of a douche, right? So anyways, here, but Pamela Anderson's amazing, by the way. LB, stay away from Pamela Anderson. Please stay away from Pamela Anderson. Okay, so Brian Robbins. Brian Robbins is now the president.
Yeah, Brian Robbins, he enabled Dan Schneider so much. Dan Schneider was his friend. So why would you put Brian Robbins as the head of Nickelodeon? That's what I getting out of this lesson. Why is he the president of Nickelodeon? They're friends, which I might be sending Nickelodeon Paramount a letter.
President of Nickelodeon. Brian Robbins, upon joining Nickelodeon, Brian Robbins served as a producer for All That and played a key role in the production of the sitcom Kenan and Kel, while also directing the feature film adaptation of Good Burger, solidifying his impact within the Nickelodeon ecosystem through a range of creative roles. Brian Peck was casted as an upset customer in Good Burger. Let's check it out. Give me this volume.
What's up, Kate?
It's not going to do it. What is with it with TikTok? That's so
one good
weird.
Burger with nothing. Excuse me. Look, I ordered one good burger with nothing on it.
That's what I gave you.
No, you gave me a bun. Just a bun. Look, there's no meat in here.
But you said you wanted nothing on it.
Yeah, that's what I expected, a meat patty.
Dude, a meat patty is something. You said nothing. Fizz, is a meat patty something or nothing?
Something?
I win.
All right, that rips.
Interesting.
I am reporting your name to the manager.
Interesting, though, that it was Brian Robbins, because wasn't it Brian Robbins who directed Good Burger, right?
I vividly remember this scene.
Yeah, me too, actually. So Brian Robbins directed Good Burger. Dan Schneider wrote it, and so here right away we're seeing Brian Peck showing up in a project again with Brian Robbins and Dan Schneider, which is why we're doing all this, because I love that Dan Schneider, when he did his not real apology video, he said, "Oh, Brian Robbins was the one who."
Maybe Dan Schneider didn't hire Brian Peck, but he hired him for his own show and enabled him. It doesn't matter. It's just a coincidence that he ended up on a show that he was fully producing. Nickelodeon, start apologizing.
Who hired, Brian Peck? Okay, kind of, sort of, I guess. But also, we're going to find out that Dan Schneider also hired Brian Peck, and as one of the creepiest roles of all, to be quite honest with you.
Can we just pause for 1 second?
Yeah.
As a kid watching that,
yeah.
Like,
which one? Wait, what? Good Burger?
Yeah, the Good Burger with Brian Peck in it.
Mm-hmm.
That scene. I remember that scene now. I never thought of it until just now. So now watching it back after all these years, I didn't. It was funny back then. I thought that joke was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But it was what the joke was. But now watching it as an adult, you're like,
mm-hmm.
oh, that joke isn't what the kid thinks that joke is supposed to
Exactly.
be, and now it's inappropriate.
Exactly.
Okay, public
Because it was
service
written by an adult, not by a
not let
kid.
your children watch
It would be
later
so
seasons of
different.
all
Like when
that.
Dan Schneider's like, oh, kids are looking at this and laughing and think it's funny. You're like, yeah, but you're not a kid. You're an adult writing this. And we all know what the innuendo is when you wrote this, dude.
If it was written for adults, I think it would be okay. Right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's still
yeah.
weird.
Well,
It's still
yeah, that'd be
weird.
kind of
Brock
different. But also
Richards,
he
and
is,
this-
but also when we know what we know about him, it's not really okay.
Right. Well, yeah.
It's when it comes to Brian Peck specifically, it's bad. If it was an adult show and it wasn't Brian Peck, it's like a little bit different, obviously. Oh, wait, so this is Keenan and Cal. Okay, so here's Brian Peck. Brian Robbins hiring him for Keenan and Cal.
I'm Brock Richards, and this is the Illinois Turbo Lotto.
Are we late?
Come sit. I can't breathe.
All righty, the time has finally come. Let's get these balls a bouncing.
Every single thing with Brian Peck, it doesn't matter what you're choosing, right? It doesn't matter what you're choosing. There is some innuendo with Brian Peck.
Why
every single time. And remember, so we got LB now. Now we have Brian Robbins. And
everything I'm noticing with Brian Peck is some type of, y'all. It's just something. Why they keep every show when he's not playing pickle guy, it's some innuendo. Every time it's some innuendo. It doesn't matter if he's not pickle guy, if he's what else did he play? The Mirror on the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It's always a dig that they keep doing. Disney and Nickelodeon. It doesn't matter if he's the Mirror. And he's doing this scene with what's her name, Brenda Song. And you're literally saying that after all the charges that were against him, Disney still hired him. But my thing is, why everything with this man is an innuendo? It doesn't matter if it's Disney, Nickelodeon.
And we got Dan Schneider. So it seems like they're really close together. LB, Dan Schneider, and Brian Peck. I know someone was saying that Brian Peck and Dan Schneider had like a camp together for children.
True.
If someone has a paragraph or something from that Los Angeles time, Epstein Island. Yeah, no, they had a camp on Epstein Island. That would be insane. And obviously maybe not so far of a reach, to be quite honest with you. But if someone has like a little bit of a quote from the Los Angeles Times article about that Brian Peck and Dan Schneider camp that they allegedly had, please put it in the chat. What, a camp? Yeah, dude, that's why it's so bad. And I'm surprised, like, not that many people have really honestly come forward when it comes to that camp or what that was. But it's like Dan Schneider and Brian Peck having a camp together. Like, what are you guys doing? And when you see how they write Brian Peck into these scripts and what they make him play, it gets worse and worse. Okay, so we got Brian Robbins here. Good Burger and Keenan and Cal. Now we have Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider was writer and co-creator of Good Burger sketches and led creation of All That. He also served as a creator and executive producer of The Amanda Show, created and executive producer of Guys Like Us. Now, you guys,
this can't.
When my husband found this,
Do anybody know what Guys Like Us is?
First
I
of
never
all,
watched the show.
When we think about like who enabled Brian Peck, it's guys like these, all right? So these are the guys that, in my opinion, enabled somebody like Brian Peck, because as we look at the footage, you can tell there's innuendos every single time when Brian Peck shows up on screen. But when my husband found Guys Like Us, I honestly couldn't believe it, because obviously if you would have watched this footage, before the documentary, you'd be like, okay, it's kind of creepy, right? You see it and you're like, that's creepy. Now knowing that Brian Peck had a pen palship with John Wayne Gacy, and that the painting was just beside his bed, a room, and then he had letters and was showing children, you better believe that when Dan Schneider went and hung out with Brian Peck, which
What the fuck is this shit?
I don't know, honestly. But you better believe that when Dan Schneider ever hung out with someone, with Brian Peck probably showed him his pen palship with John Wayne Gacy, or, maybe possibly mentioned it in passing. Because when you see this clip, it just makes your skin crawl, because not only is he a fucking clown, but he is also a clown by the name of Happy Pants.
Like
and he has a scene with children.
Oh.
And when Dan Schneider did that no apology video, I'm gonna start calling it the no apology video. When he did that video, he tried to put Brian Robbins under the bus and was like, oh, it was Robbins who, hired Brian Peck. Not me. Dan Schneider, yeah, right. You actually did hire Brian Peck on your own show that you created in 1998. So let's take a look at this clip. It's so terrifying. Trigger warning, just because it's Brian Peck.
Okay, let's see what this.
Wait, I can't hear it.
This man is.
Oh, wait, can everyone hear this? And we can't put it up, can we? Oh, you're way up. Okay. All right, here we go. Actually, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because we should see this as big as we can.
Hey, kids, it's me, Mr. Happy Pants. Did somebody order a clown?
I'm pretty sure that would have been Barney, and those kids would not have slammed the door.
Who was that at the door?
Just some clown.
And it's with young kids, by the way. It's with young kids. Wait, I got to start it. I got to go back. I mean, John Wayne Gacy. I can't. No, I can't. It doesn't let me when I'm in the Rodecaster.
I will block you.
But I mean, listen, he literally is a pen pal with John Wayne Gacy. And you're telling me that Dan Schneider, just by coincidence, made Brian Peck a freaking clown in his TV show that he created and also called him Happy Pants? Come on, Dan Schneider.
It's me, Mr. Happy Pants. Did somebody order a clown?
No.
Man, I forgot we ordered Mr. Happy Pants. You just had to have Mr. Happy Pants.
Happy Pants.
Who was that at the door?
Just some clown.
Okay.
We gotta think of a way to pay for all this stuff. We can have a garage sale. We don't have.
And the fact that the clown is harassing these young, children, essentially, I find that pretty interesting too, because I'm guessing that earlier on in this episode, if I were to predict what the script was about, this episode was these kids end up, having this clown do X, Y, and Z, but they don't have the money. Then they go home and the clown follows them home or finds out where they live and then is demanding money and harassing them. It's really weird that it's Brian Peck again playing this role. And again, he's saying his name is Happy Pants. And then the kids are literally saying Happy Pants. Let's continue.
It's me, Mr. Happy Pants. It seems there was a little problem with your credit card. Mr. Happy Pants must be paid. What?
Ew, he is so scary.
Excuse us. There's an angry clown on our door.
What are we going to do?
And y'all thought when y'all see somebody.
I love that they just bail. I would 100% bail too if he showed up. But look at this.
I'm waiting. Hello?
Kaden, you still in here? Okay, that's weird. Nickelodeon is so crazy.
No, this is a nightmare. And if anyone missed that, he literally says in that, wow, there's like plane. I think P Diddy's somewhere near
Okay, so
the
what would you
area
in that? What would you
because
say
why
to
is
the
it
people
playing the
that
video? I think P Diddy's somewhere nearby because there's been helicopters like I don't know, flying around the studio today. I don't know if anyone can hear it, but it's kind of bizarre after watching that raid. I never heard that many. Have you? Wyatt? I've never heard. Really? Wow, I don't even remember that. Maybe once or twice. Okay, so when I heard Dan Schneider, say that basically he had, nothing to do basically with Brian Peck. He like almost said like that Peck guy. The way that he was referring to him was as if it was somebody he's met just here and there. My gut feeling when it comes to them is that they knew each other pretty well, enough to hire him on his own show, enough to know possibly that he had a pen palship with John Wayne Gacy. I don't know if he knew him well enough to call him Happy
Raven said
Pants,
they were
but I do
friends.
find it pretty bizarre that Dan Schneider did hire him and he acts and this is something else. I don't know. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a little bit weird for saying this, but I do find it weird that Dan Schneider called Drake Bell. I just do. Something about it, like my intuition, when you watch something or you hear something and you just get that weird sixth sense that everyone else is like, oh, wow, like shocked. And then you're kind of the lone wolf with it and you're having a very different, unsettling feeling with the information. That's how I felt when I was listening to Drake say, Dan called me and was like, was it you? How do you know that? You know what I think? I honestly, wow, I never actually thought about this. I would not be surprised if Brian Peck asked Dan Schneider to write a letter. Because what I've heard is Brian Peck's lawyer ended up reaching out to a few people that declined. And when they heard what the lawyer had to say about it, the lawyer was pretty honest about, yeah, he did this and but this, but that. I would not be surprised because I'm going to ask the chat this.
Okay, Brian Peck is getting too weird. It is. So we're gonna end the reaction here. Make sure y'all follow me on. Make sure y'all follow me on TikTok. Make sure y'all follow me on Bingo. Oh Jesus! And make sure y'all like and subscribe.